Once upon a time, on a planet called Cato Prime, lived a civilization of very happy, very fluffy kittens. They had lived there for hundreds of years, ever since their ancestors arrived in a giant spaceship shaped like a golden fish. Cato Prime was a paradise. Lakes were filled with jumping salmon, rivers flowed with fresh cream, and the sky was always a beautiful shade of sunset pink. It was the cleanest planet in the galaxy. The kittens were ruled by Princess Aura. She was the fluffiest kitten of all, with fiery red fur and bright yellow eyes. She spent her days lounging on silk pillows in a palace that looked like a massive, shimmering fish. The kittens loved almost everyone, except for the neighbors on the planet next door. Just 10 light years away sat Planet Num, the smelliest, stickiest, grossest place in space. Planet Num was covered in thick green slime. The sky was a smoky pea soup color, and the air smelled like the wet gym socks and old broccoli. This was the home of the pugs. The pugs were lazy, round, and always hungry. They lived in the houses with long mechanical legs that could walk through the slime. The main food was green goo, which they hated. What the pugs really wanted were apples. But on Num, apples were more valuable than diamonds. Only the royalty were allowed to have them. They had to be stolen from the nearby planets just to supply the royal court, while the rest of the pugs simply ate slime and sighed. Planet Num was ruled by Lord Slop. He looked like a regular pug, but he had a big dream. He wanted to be fluffy. He wore a shaggy, lopsided toupee. "When we start growing our own apples," Slop barked to his people, "the whole galaxy will be at our mercy. We will have other planets coming to us, begging us to sell them our superior apples. We will all eat apples all day, and we will get obscenely rich." Worst ideas come on the worst looking days, don't they? It was particularly unpleasant today. Light green drops were slowly rolling down the windows in the Lord Slop's palace. He was sitting on his green throne alone in his royal bathroom, waiting for his bellyache to go away. He absolutely cannot eat apples. All the doctor pugs told him so, and yet that delicious, loud, crunchy, sweet stuff, he just could not resist. Minutes later, a sound erupted from the royal bathroom. A long, rolling fart echoed through the kingdom, amplified by the freshly cleaned pipes. "Oh," Slop sighed, sliding down the bathroom wall in complete satisfaction. "I feel so much better." Meanwhile, in the hallway, the other pugs looked at each other terrified. "The king had an apple again," they whispered. Slop knew he had a very important meeting scheduled with his best advisors, and they were all waiting for some grandiose idea how to get those apples finally growing. He sighed at the window one more time as the chunk of slime finally slid off and cleared the sad green view of his very gloomy kingdom. And there it was, the bulb, that brilliant glimpse of light. It shattered into a million pieces right outside the palace. "We will illuminate all around our places and make this green swamp all bright and cozy." We may actually grow something," said Slop to himself, and finally headed out to the fart room, stopping on the way in front of the mirror to make sure his hair looked perfect. He grabbed the folder out of his private safe with big secret written over it. Inside the folder is a picture of the Aura's palace, and that damn kitten with all that pretty long fluffy hair. Cute, cozy silk pillows, little strings of lights on the walls, sparkling in a special, almost magical way. And the worst part, that look in the other cat's eyes, that full adoration and even happiness radiating out of them. Slop hated that part the most. At last, Lord Slop arrived at the fart room. The door swung open and he slowly rolled in. The room went quiet, with the exception of a few fart noises. Slop inhaled with his whole lungs and remarked, "Ah, the smell of loyalty," as he took his place. He looked energized and ready to conquer. "We will begin!" echoed through the room, as the rest of the pugs were happy to say, "Yes, Your Majesty." "I have decided we need to decorate the outside of the houses with the little lights. This is of most importance," said Slop in the most decisive way. Priceless look of utter confusion on everyone's face. No one had a clue what Slop talking about. "But Your Majesty," one of the main advisors, who was always there and appeared out of nowhere like he always did. Sometimes Slop even thought he wasn't real. "Today's agenda is apple orchards. Everyone here is very excited to hear your big plan." The room erupted and yep, 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 yep. Already big eyes got even bigger. Everyone was super excited. "What we need is little sparkling lights, just like what they have on Cattle Prime. Here's the proof," Slop announced as he pulled up the secret file on big screen. When loaded onto the holograph, every angle of the room became visible. "The lights will help the apples grow," Slop barked, pulling back to admire the image. "Pay special attention to how happy the cats are. Clearly it's because of those little sparkly lights," barked Lord Slop. "Yep, yep, yep," chimed in all the pugs in the room. "We like it. It will make our green swamp sparkle. You have the best ideas." "But sire," the advisor interrupted, appearing out of nowhere as usual, "where are we going to get the lights?" "We're going to steal them from Cattle Prime," Slop laughed, spraying everything nearby with saliva. "No sparkle for the kittens," he screamed, as all the pugs joined in, laughing and farting. The finest, youngest pups from the slime diet party were selected. Super cute costumes were made by the finest seamstress in the kingdom. The pups were to blend in by looking like cats. They all gathered near the palace right before the mission, and Lord Slop looked very happy when he saw all these beauties looking like fat, fluffy, but adorable kittens. They landed their ship behind the fish lake on Cattle Prime. Using green slime as bait, they caught a bucket of fish as a gift. "Just act like kittens, meow and stuff," yelled their commander. It wasn't just that they looked slightly suspicious when all 20 of them were carrying fish in their paws and heading towards the palace. There was something off about the strange fur they all had. They also made bizarre noises, unlike any sound a cat would make. It appeared they were barking. Many of the cats rushing home from work noticed that there was something wrong, though they couldn't quite figure out what it was. As the laws of physics dictate, news travel fast. It reached the palace in an instant and was delivered straight to General Moi. He was a tough black and white cat with a glowing red cyber eye. He had lost his real eye in a pug scuffle years ago, and now he had X-ray vision. "General," a palace cat approached Moa. "Strange bunch of very colorful kittens are approaching the palace." They all are carrying fish and appear to be barking from time to time. Moi looked up. Fish? Why? I just delivered the news, the palace cat said, and disappeared the same way he had appeared. Right after the news arrived, Moi heard a noise at an entrance. It was coming from inside the palace. It took a few seconds to get to the front door to catch a scene of a dozen odd-looking pet kittens, all in different colors. All of them were indeed carrying fish. Moi squinted the red eye. Through the fake fur, he saw chubby pug bellies and curly tails. "Those aren't kittens!" Moi roared. "Those are stinky pugs! Charge!" Chaos broke out. Kitten guards used the pugs' own gift fish as clubs. They pelted the pugs with cream pies. The pugs tripped all over each other, screaming and barking as they ran for their ship. But it was a trick. While Moi was busy chasing the fakes, Lord Slop had landed on a palace roof. He snatched Princess Aura. "One move and the flagpole gets it," he sneered, dragging her onto his ship. The general realized the truth only seconds before Lord Slop's spaceship took off. The sad face of the most beautiful kitten looking right at him. He wanted to lose it, but he couldn't afford to. He needed to make a plan and figure out what Lord Slop could possibly want in exchange for returning the princess safely back to her sparkly palace. Moi ordered intel on Lord Slop. "We must know everything. What he loves, what he hates, why his belly aches. All the details," he yelled. "We brief in an hour." The profile was ready in record time. Typical smelly pug. Loves apples, though they give him belly aches and gas. He also has an obsession with hair. He wants all pugs to look like Pekingese, one of the major reported. "A what?" Moi looked puzzled. "A breed of dogs on planet Earth, a primitive race. They have long hair and look suspiciously close to pugs if shaved. They are believed to be pugs that migrated to Earth during Ice Age, about 2 million years ago." Back on Num, Slop sent a message. "Relocate all your apple trees to my planet, give me all your sparkling lights, or the princess stays here in slime forever. You have 1 week." How did General Moi not lose it when he heard those demands? He didn't know if he needed to laugh or cry. The demand was completely unrealistic. Those apple trees would never grow on Num. And the lights? It must have been getting really gloomy there lately. "Loves apples, you say?" Moi paused for a second and ordered his team to bring the most delicious-looking pink apples from the nearby lake. They looked absolutely irresistible. They only grew in this one specific place and were known to be incredibly delicious. The plan was genius. Feed Lord Slop a mountain of apples, let his tummy turn them into superpowered gas, and use the giant fart as a rocket boost to sling off of a small low-gravity moon straight toward a bigger planet's gravity pull. The moon and Earth were the perfect cosmic bodies for the trick. But there was one big problem. How could they trick Lord Slop into meeting them on the moon? They needed a prize far shinier and more exciting than a regular old apple orchard. One of the counselors snapped their fingers. "How about the premium hair supplement? It guarantees the fluffiest, shiniest coat ever, and Lord Slop is obsessed with hair." "Genius!" squeaked Moi, clapping their hands. "Tell Lord Slop right now we have a solution." All systems were perfectly aligned for a straight shot back to Earth. Moi was counting on quick gas release from Lord Slop to act as a propulsion engine, launching him straight toward Earth. Everything was in position. The planet was in sight, the pink apples were ready, and the Lord Slop was still wearing his hair, looking quite proud of himself. Slop took steps that sent him flying a few feet into the air before he finally landed in a perfect position. Lord Slop, General Moi began, before we start, let me introduce you to our latest and most delicious crop of pink apples. These don't grow around our lake, he added, tossing about 5 apples directly at Lord Slop's greedy, slobbery face. It was indeed the perfect plan. Slop ate all 5 apples in one bite, and his face turned green. He needed to fart so bad and was trying to hold it in. But with all 5 apples, it's a lot for a tiny fat little pug. He couldn't stop himself. He let out the most roaring fart he had ever released and took off onto the Earth's trajectory. "My wig!" he screamed as his hair flew off. He launched through the space straight toward planet Earth. The other pugs panicked and flew back to planet Num. Princess Aura was safe. What was the solution, General? Apples! Moi laughed. I think he's going to find exactly what he's looking for on that blue planet. Lord Slop crash landed onto a soft flower bed on Earth. A kind old lady in bathrobe looked down at him. "Oh, a sweet old little puggy wuggy," she cooed. "You are the most adorable thing I've ever seen." Slop woke up on a velvet pillow. He was clean, he was pampered, he even had a bowl of treats that didn't look like slime. This was an absolute disaster. Slop realized he was absolutely and totally stuck here at the primitive planet. Even though old lady thought his parts were cute, he was the king, the Lord of Num, ruler of slime and deception. Back on Cato Prime, the kittens turned their sparkly lights back on, the milk river flowed, the pink sky stayed bright, and they thought they never had to worry about smelly neighbors ever again. The end. Or is it?